Alright, everybody, welcome to Goodmutt's broadcast. My name is Barrelmutt, and my co-host Goodbuskus will not be here today. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I've really badly wanted to do a podcast for a while now, but haven't really found the time. And I apologize for that. I'm hoping to make these a weekly thing so that we have a decent variety of different videos on our channel, not just the same stuff. So I'm hoping you enjoy this. If you do, leave a comment, a like, subscribe for more. If not, like, comment, subscribe for more anyway. The main topic today is about a few different things, but they all kind of revolve around the same generational debate that's happening, sorta kinda. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past few days, Pokemon Go was released a few weeks back. Maybe 2, 3, I'm not exactly sure. And there's been a lot of controversy around it, primarily due to two reasons. One, there are a lot of particularly older people, some younger people, going on about the dangers of Pokemon Go, because a few people have been mugged playing, someone apparently experienced a murder, someone almost experienced someone else being kidnapped, which was legit. Like, the kidnapping, it did legitimately happen, but it wasn't a kidnapping. It just looked a lot like it. It just seemed like a really sus situation, but it wasn't. And, a lot of stuff like that. And people have been using it as a platform to say that Pokemon Go is inherently dangerous. And to me, that's kind of stupid. There's nothing particularly dangerous about Pokemon Go. It tells you to be aware of your surroundings. It could maybe go with a disclaimer to be careful if you're using it at night. It's pretty obvious if you're going to go out at night anyway, it's probably better you don't go out alone. And that's for everyone. I don't like going out at night alone, even along the back roads, all that shit, because it can be dangerous. And especially in some of the places that Pokemon Go has Pokestops at, which is typically where people go when this kind of stuff allegedly happened, it can be dangerous. The issue is, pretty much every claim about Pokemon Go, someone being murdered, someone getting mugged, someone getting kidnapped, they've all been fake. Pretty much all of them. It takes about 2 seconds to look these articles up, see if they come from a reliable source, see if they're satire, and just look up if they've been debunked. There was one about Pokemon Go causing highway buildup, like someone stopped to get a Squirtle or something, and the article was so obviously satire. It was actually a really hilarious article. My mom full on fucking believed it. Like, she swore up and down. Like, she was like, why would someone make that up? And it's like, because it's the internet. People do that. So, yeah, that was one in particular that I know got debunked. Another one was a murder. Someone apparently experienced a murder while he was playing Pokemon Go, and that turned out to be fake. That one was kind of fucked up because he actually full on had people believing for a while that he experienced a murder. So that was pretty messed up. There have been a few true ones. Like, someone was fined because they were playing Pokemon Go on their phone, but that's not really much. One in particular that did get a lot of traffic was a girl who was out playing Pokemon Go, crossed a highway to get to a museum where a Pokemon was. She crossed the highway back, I'm guessing, because it was talking about she had left the museum. I'm under the assumption if she crossed the highway to get back that she crossed the highway to get there. She crossed the highway and she ended up getting hit by a car, and now the family wants to sue Niantic and whoever else they can sue, and the entire situation's so stupid. She wasn't even playing Pokemon Go when she crossed the highway to go back. She had stopped at that point. But the mother, I believe, said it was like she wouldn't have done it in the first place if it wasn't for Pokemon Go, and that's just really stupid. I'm sure there are probably safe ways to get to the museum. I doubt the only way to get to the museum was crossing a highway. And if there were, she could have, taken a car. She didn't have access to a car. She should have been smart enough to just not go. I don't know about, because I'm pretty sure it happened in America. I don't know about America, but over here, you can't walk on a highway. It is illegal. Like, you legally cannot walk on a highway. Like, at all. And so that's one law that she would be, breaking by crossing a highway. Another one is jaywalking is illegal. And, I'm pretty sure she would be breaking that. I think jaywalking might only be illegal if there's a crossing nearby. But I'm not too sure of that. It also might work in different states and countries. But yeah, the highway thing, that's definitely something, at least over here, that is 100% illegal. You cannot walk on the highway. You especially can't cross the highway. That's because, like, there are cars going 110, and, you can't exactly... It's very hard to stop for someone when you're going 110 on the highway. But yeah, they're trying to blame Pokemon Go for that, and people are using this as an example of how awful Pokemon Go is. And it's like, no, okay, she should either not be alone if she's that stupid to cross a highway just to get to a Pokestop. Like, I don't understand. If that's how she is, then she should really have a parent with her. Like, it's ridiculous. The fact that they're trying to blame Pokemon Go for her crossing a highway is just stupid. That was her own choice. She wasn't even playing when she was crossing. She had stopped playing and she was heading back. Okay, like, maybe she was playing Pokemon Go. I still would think it was her fault, but still. But yeah, another one was 2 people fell off a cliff playing Pokemon Go. I don't exactly know how. I'm guessing they just weren't aware of their surroundings. Neither of them died. They just sustained some pretty bad injuries, as far as I know. And I haven't heard that they're trying to sue Niantic or anything like that. So I'm figuring they're aware that, like, it was their own fault for not looking. They had even gone past, stop or do not enter sign or something like that, or trespassing sign. It was one of those signs. So they had fair warning to not go there, and they went there anyway. So that's kind of on them. They can't. All these people are just trying to blame Pokemon Go for these things, and it's really can just be brought down to the fact kids are being ridiculous about it. It's not the invention's fault that kids and teenagers and adults are acting stupid. That's just people acting stupid. The most I can say is I feel like at some point it'd be a good idea for Niantic to maybe make a few more warnings about being aware of your surroundings, going places you wouldn't normally go. I don't think it's their fault, but maybe it could make people lighten up on them a bit. I don't really think they have to, I just think it would be a good idea. Another one that actually happened in Australia was there's a place in Sydney, which is a huge city, really popular, and what happened was I'm pretty sure it's a park that's nearby some apartment complex, and there were a lot of kids hanging out there, catching Pokemon, socializing, etc., and that really pissed people off for some reason. And I can't remember if it was a drive-by or if it was people in the apartment complexes nearby throwing them, but they got water ballooned. Like, people were throwing water balloons at them in attempts to, basically get them to fuck off. And that's really fucked, in my opinion. There would have been kids there. There would have been, adults who were only there because their children wanted to go out. And, I don't get it, okay? Because primarily the people that would be doing this are adults. I don't feel like a whole lot of teenagers would be pissed off about people hanging out in Central Park. Not Central Park. The park that was there. But you have these people who are having a good time, and you're sitting there being bitter and pissed off about it. I don't understand it. For ages, people have been saying, teenagers and kids and young people should be going out and having fun and socializing. Then an app comes out that actually encourages people to exercise, to socialize, people running into each other, having chats. And it's like, not like that. No, you should not be doing it like that. And it's like, what the fuck? And the water ballooning thing, fucking, there'd be someone there who what if someone's phone broke, you know? Like, it's fucking water. What if someone's phone broke and their only way to get home is by calling someone? Like, what? You just fucked up, like, a $600 phone because you're bitter? Get fucked. I mean, it's just happened a lot in general, you know? A lot of old people are being like, I don't play Pokemon Go because I'm a working adult with a job. And it's like, no, you're not playing Pokemon Go because you either just don't like it or you're a bitter asshole. Like they say it proudly as though it makes some difference in their life that they're not a part of this new trend, and it's like, it's stupid. It's just stupid, okay? Let people have their fun. If they're not hurting you, it's really none of your fucking business. It doesn't make them not adults. It just means that they are enjoying this new game. And I can understand why. Like, I've played it myself for since its release, basically, and I've really been enjoying it. And it's got me out of the house a lot more. It's gotten me driving around my, like, suburb. I've driven, like, 30 minutes to, like, an old place I used to love, and it, like, revitalized my love for that place. I want to move there because it's such a nice place, but I'd forgotten about it, and then I go there because of this app, and it's like, whew, so good. But yeah, so basically, the entirety of that is people are bitter, particularly old people. But that's not the end of it. Something else I would like to touch on that happened kind of recently is, for those of you who don't know, I've only pieced it together, so if anything I do say is wrong and someone is more knowledgeable on the subject, let me know. But Street Fighter, the video game, I think a competitive tournament, might not have been competitive, and I'm pretty sure it would be. I can't imagine why else Street Fighter would be on it. Street Fighter was on ESPN. They had people playing Street Fighter versus each other in Street Fighter, and all these sports fans, primarily I'm imagining, went off their nut. It was all over Twitter, all these people going off their head because Street Fighter was on ESPN. Like, it was crazy. And some of the comments were so hateful, like, there were people calling them dorks. And, like, oh, God. One comment actually pissed me off a little bit. It was this dude, and they were like, this is the result of people not getting bullied enough in high school. Like, they were blaming the fact these people played video games on the fact that they didn't get bullied enough in high school. Like, what the fuck? What is with these people? Like, how messed up do you have to be to encourage the idea that people should be bullied more so that you don't have to see Street Fighter on ESPN? You know, and it's like, coming from someone who was bullied an ass ton in school. I mean, like, I swapped schools like 5 times, okay? I know this shit. If anything, that made me go toward, like, playing video games more. Because, like, it was fun and exciting. And this sounds pathetic, but I didn't have a whole lot of friends up until near the end of high school. I had a lot near the end of high school. Before then, I didn't have a whole lot, so it was like I had more time to play video games. So, I mean, that's just a fucking stupid comment in itself. I don't understand. Like, and just the idea that this person thinks that people should go through an experience that can be severely inducing, make people really depressed, hurt people physically because he got all pissed off that he couldn't watch people fling around a football for an hour is just so ridiculous, you know? And then there were others going on about how anyone can do this, so they don't understand why it is that they're showing it on ESPN. I'm gonna make a point. I've said that same thing about sport so many times when I was younger. As I got older, I understood that even though it looked stupid to me, there were more details involved that I probably didn't understand, because I'm not that into sports. But the thing is, the same thing would be the case if one of those people tried to play Street Fighter. Like, if you look at a game with 2 people sitting down playing Street Fighter, you might look at it and say it's stupid, it looks easy, etc., etc. But there are a lot of mind games going on, there are combos you gotta remember. It's not easy. And if it is so easy, I'd like to see one of these, like, 30-year-old bitter assholes try and verse, like, one of those professional Street Fighter players who fucking, like, earn millions in competitions and shit like that. My personal idea is these people are just really pissed off because if you're a sports fan, I'd imagine you played sports when you were younger, like 9 times out of 10. And you probably wanted to go somewhere. But you didn't, so then you got a wife, and then you had a kid, and then you forced him to play football or basketball or golf or whatever the fuck it was, trying to get him to be the superstar you could never be, all the while beating the shit out of your wife every time she, like, I don't know, offers you a beer at the wrong time during a sport game. And then you see these people that you used to bully when you were younger and a piece of shit, and they're actually making something of themselves, and you're just being a piece of shit. And I mean, that's a huge generalization, but I know they're fucking out there. I know they are, and it's pathetic. And I don't know. It's just there's so many ridiculous sports that count as sports too. Like, you know, darts counts as a sport, golf counts as a sport, fucking chess counts as a sport. But they're getting mad that electronic video games are considered an electronic sport. They're not considered a sport, they're considered an e-sport. So they haven't crossed into their little territory, their little, I don't know, no nerds allowed club. But, like, it was maybe an hour plus of Street Fighter on ESPN. And they're that pissed about it that they're saying people should have been bullied, calling them names. Like, they were literally actually fully legitimately using names like dork and nerd as an insult. I haven't heard dork or nerd used as an insult in pretty much my entire life. Ever. I've never used it, like, I've never heard it used seriously, ever. And then these, like, 60-year-olds come along with a dick 10 feet up their ass and they're, like, spewing it out as though anyone's gonna take them seriously. And it's just, I don't understand what it is with the older generation looking down on millennials and just younger people in general and getting pissed off about what makes them happy. Like, I know it's not everyone. I'm sure there's some people who thought it was stupid but kept their mouth shut because they don't care, or just people who didn't even know anything about it. And, like, I'm sure there are old people who even encourage it, and I'm sure that there are also younger people that are saying all that kind of shit that those people are saying. But it tends to be the older people, and I don't understand, okay? It's like they see something that is making younger people happy, so they gotta harp about how stupid it is. And it happens all the time. And I always hear the same things too. It's like, oh, this is going to ruin the future. People said the same shit about fucking bikes, okay? About newspaper, about TV, okay? And I bet any money that all these 60-year-olds are doing just that. Fucking sitting down, watching TV all the time, and occasionally getting up to eat their frozen dinners. If they can still get up. So, it really bothers me that we haven't gotten out of that mentality where something new and cool comes along and we think, oh, well, that's it. Fucking humanity is ruined. Most of the time, it either doesn't have that much of an impact on us, it has an impact on a few maybe, or it has a pretty big impact and people are happy. It's like the selfie stick. Everyone was saying that stupid shit about the selfie stick. And maybe like a handful of people out of all the people that I know actually use a selfie stick, actually own a selfie stick. And even the ones that do own it, like, maybe use it like once or twice, you know? And it's like, I mean, if you take a lot of selfies, you know, I'm not really that kind of person because I don't like myself very much. But, like, if you're the kind of person who takes a lot of them and you have a device that makes it easier for you, then go for it. A lot of people just like it because they can get bigger group photos with friends without having, like, half their chin cut off in the photo or something ridiculous. I mean, that's not really... Humanity isn't that fragile. We're gonna, like, fall to our knees every time a new invention comes along. People are actually worried about the bike. Okay, and, shit, what was it? Paper. People were worried about paper back when, we primarily writ on chalkboards and shit. People were like, oh, how are people gonna write on chalkboards when they learn how to write on paper when all the paper runs out and all we have is chalkboards? And then paper took over anyway, and no one has to fucking write on chalkboard. Not even most classrooms have a chalkboard. They have a fucking whiteboard. Chalk is shit, okay? It's disgusting and dusty and it's annoying, okay? Chalkboards is shit. But that's how it takes it. That's how everything goes. Something new comes along and everyone harks on it, and most of the time it either has little impact or it's big and it doesn't turn out that bad and makes things easier. I can't think of an invention that's come along that has made things harder on society. And if it has, it's become one of those things that just doesn't get used. And I don't know. I guess my final point on this entire thing, and this is back to sports, I know I kind of jumped around like 10 foot away from that topic, but the biggest thing is I've never liked sports. I used to play sports and I didn't like sports. Like, I enjoyed playing it, but I didn't fucking like watching it. I thought it was annoying. And every time a big sports game would come on, all I'd have to hear about for the next week is all the sports fans never shutting the fuck up about it. Teachers would make songs up about it and get on stage and sing them and, go X team. And I'd just be sitting there like, what the fuck? And I thought it was stupid at a point too. I still think they're stupid, but I personally think they're stupid. I don't think everyone else should think they're stupid like I used to think when I was younger. I didn't get it. I still don't get it, but I also know that a lot of people don't get the stuff I'm into, so I have no reason to judge. But the biggest thing is, I remember going through all those years hating hearing about sports. It pissed me right off, having to hear about it for weeks on end. And I know people who feel the same way, who just aren't into sports, don't know shit all about them, and don't want to because it's just boring to them. And we've had to listen to your guys' shit for years, decades even. And a fucking video game competition is on ESPN for like maybe an hour or two or three. Or however long it was on. I'm sure it's not still on now. I'm sure it probably hasn't come back, and if it has, oh well, that's just a little bit of extra time. Nothing compared to the decades we've had to hear about sports. And you can't even handle that. Like, you just die, basically. You go off. You start saying that these kids should have been beaten up more and physically abused and bullied, and oh, where are the parents? Because people are dedicating self to something they enjoy. They're earning, like, some of these people who are in professional esports are earning millions of dollars. And everything you're saying about them is the exact same thing that everyone who doesn't like sports has been thinking about you guys for the past so many years. And I'm sure you guys just don't notice because your dicks are so far into your eardrums that you just don't hear anyone else's opinion. And that's a big generalization, but I know that's the truth because every single time someone doesn't like sports, every sport fan goes off their fucking nutter. A friend's parents of mine dress up in the jerseys, screaming at the TV with a beer in their hand, having a fit if their favorite sport team loses, or going off about how, we've won, when their favorite sport team wins. And it's like, fun thing. Fuck off. You didn't win. You're sitting on your couch like a fat ass doing fucking nothing. You didn't win shit. And then they have a tantrum if they lose like a 5-year-old. And I don't understand how you can't see the parallels between your sports and esports, video games, whatever, that are in the professional scene. How do you not see the parallels in how you're talking about them to how people have talked about them, unless you just don't give a shit about the people who didn't like sports and how they talked about it, which you probably didn't. Like, that's the only logical conclusion that I can come to. Every time someone said something negative about your stupid sports, you just clammed up and didn't listen and probably had a tantrum and called them stupid and probably beat them the fuck up because you're a sociopath. And I've made a lot of generalizations in this video, and I understand that. And that's purely because I'm not trying to debate. I'm not trying to make a professional point. This is just me ranting. But I do want to stress that the people who I've criticized during this talk, if you're a part of people who like sports but you don't act in the way that I have talked about, it's not directed at you. If you're one of the older people who aren't totally hating on Pokemon Go, even if you don't like it yourself, I'm not talking about you, okay? It's about these people who are just constantly being bitter and negative about the way the world is evolving and the way that young people and millennials are just expressing and enjoying themselves. And even older people are enjoying it too. There are plenty of people who are probably in their 30s, 40s who think the whole video game thing is fucking cool. You know, like, it's all very diverse, but I'm specifically criticizing those who constantly have some kind of negative opinion on the way everything is evolving in the world. The same kind of people who, when computers and laptops started to get really big, were bitching about it and complaining about it, and then 10 years later they're trying to get their like 16-year-old grandchildren to teach them how the internet works. And like mothers and fathers trying to figure out how to print things because when all those things came out, they thought they were stupid. They didn't want to even try them out. They just thought they were going to ruin the world. But now they're behind everyone and they need the help of the same people they criticized for spending their time on the computer. Someone I know hated the internet, used to talk about how shit the internet was all the time when I was like 12. And in the past 6 years, they probably spend more time on the laptop and iPad and everything else than I do. So I think that's a good testament to how this all goes. People sit there and they bag on it, and they probably will continue to bag on this kind of stuff. I can't imagine they'll pick it up eventually and say, oh, that's pretty good. But that's the way it goes, you know, like, things happen, people think it's shit, and they'll either just ignore it, like I'm sure some people do with computers and laptops and the internet as a whole, or they'll embrace it. And they might even end up more obsessed because they have to go through the first stages of the internet phase all over again, just like everyone else did, where you're learning that no, there aren't hot single Russian babes in your internet. In your internet. There aren't hot single Russian babes a few miles down the road just waiting to meet only you, who seem to go away whenever I install Adblock. I guess it shows that I'm taken for all those single Russian babes or something. But yeah, I know that this podcast is probably pretty just all over the place, but I want to do these without a script so I can be as real and to the point as possible so that you kind of know where my thoughts are going. And I might script some out in the future, but I don't know, I kind of like the idea of just talking about what's on the top of my head. I know that means I've stuffed up a lot. I've had a few like seconds every now and again of silence, but I'm hoping that's how you enjoy it. If you don't, then that's fine. I can try to maybe make it better if you have any suggestions. That's about it, really. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope you didn't take anything to heart if you're not one of those disgusting people I talked about. If you are one of those disgusting people I talked about, then take everything to heart. You're a cunt. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe for more. Like this video, comment. If you didn't like it, subscribe, like this video, comment. It would just really help me. And, if you're doing it out of spite, then that's even better. Spite like me. Give me fame. Give it to me. But that's all, and I hope you have a good